Hi everyone, my name is Khadija Behzad from Meet the Locals. If you are wondering what is Meet the Locals, we are a social Emirati tourism company. We design and deliver authentic Emirati experiences. So in today's presentation, I'm going to share with you the reason why I started Meet the Locals and also our journey in designing experiences in order to explore the other side of Dubai. When I discovered my passion in tourism, I started like brainstorming and searching what are the problems which we have in the tourism sector, like in the UAE or in Dubai. Let me ask the audience, how many Emiratis we have in the audience? If you are Emirati, just raise your hand. Very few. So this is the problem which we have. Okay, I identified several problems. One of them is like we have millions of tourists, they visit the UAE or Dubai every year. They go to the different attractions, they don't get the chance to meet local people and they go back to their country. Another issue is like we are the minority, like we are only 10 to 11% of the total population. So there is no much interaction between the local people and the expats. The third one is the lack of authentic Emirati experiences in the market. Most of the tour companies, they are offering the same tours and the cultural content is missing. Besides that, we don't have like Emiratis working as tour guides. So our journey started with our first experience, which was the traditional Emirati meal experience. The aim of this experience is to introduce the Emirati cuisine for the expat residents and tourists. If you noticed, I told you residents and tourists because I noticed that whenever I meet an expat, like a colleague, when I ask them, did you try Emirati food? They say yes. Then I ask them, what did you try? They say mandi or shawarma, which is not Emirati. So our aim is to educate them about the Emirati cuisine, and so they can differentiate between the Arabic food and the Emirati cuisine. In this experience, normally like we introduce the different dishes for them, and we believe food is a big part of the culture. We have to share it with the tourists, and also like the experience will be different when they will have a meal with an Emirati. So we can explain to them about the different dishes which we have, the ingredients, when we eat it, and also like normally we let them to try eating the food by their hand, like what we do. After that, we started with the etiquette of Arabic coffee. Arabic coffee, it's very important in Emirati hospitality. If you noticed, even we have the dalla, which is the Arabic coffee pot on the 1 dirham coin. So there is a lot of information about Arabic coffee. Normally, like I noticed that some companies or some hotels, they offer the Arabic coffee for the guests, but there are a lot of things needs to be shared about the Arabic coffee. So we designed a full experience about the Arabic coffee, which is like a 1-hour experience, where we explain to them about the history of coffee, the different types of Arabic coffee, the traditional way of preparing the coffee, the ingredients which we use, the spices which we use, and we have some secret like messages. For example, why we just fill 1/4 of the cup, we don't fill it up. What does it mean when they shake the cup? What is the history behind it? So all this, we normally share it with our guests. We also then started doing tours. For our tours, we normally like, we don't want to do the usual tours which normally like the companies do. We are focusing more on the cultural tours. Our tours are rich in cultural content. And it's not about taking them to the cultural places and that's it. The content is very important. For example, when we take our tourists to Old Dubai, we explain in details about the architect of Emirati house, why some windows are low, some windows are high. What does it mean if the windows are open? So there are a lot of content and details in our tours. We also focus on taking people to the different museums. For example, this photo is in Ittihad Museum, where we cover about the formation of the U.A.E, where the constitution of the U.A.E was signed. In addition, also, I believe many people, they don't know the story of Expo 2020 logo. So we have another museum in the Shandaga area, which is called Saruq al-Hadid, where they have these rings which was found in one of the archaeological sites in Dubai called Saruq al-Hadid. So many people, they don't know that the logo of Expo 2020 was inspired by these rings which was found in this archaeological site. After that, we started cultural induction programs because we noticed many of our customers who were coming, they were new employees. Then we said, yes, we can approach the companies to conduct cultural induction programs. And our aim is not only like to focus on like tourists, but also we believe everyone should be a cultural ambassador in the U.A.E. So by educating the employees, they are living here, they can share the information with their colleagues, and by doing this, we can spread about the Emirati culture. Then we also added the VIP guest handling, because we noticed also like normally they take the delegates to the different attractions. We believe they have to live that they have to live the experience. So, for example, for our VIP guests, normally we let them to try the Emirati food. We do the session about Emirati, the Arabic coffee. We let them try the national dress, teach them how to write their name in Arabic. So it's a bit different than what usually other companies do. We also have the camel race experience. I noticed that companies usually they have like camel riding, like the camel race or camel riding. It's very important. Like it's one of the traditional sports which we have. So it's important for us to explain to the guest about the importance of camels. So we usually share with them our history with camels, our different facts, interesting facts about camels. So it should be a full experience. Also, many tourists, they come to Dubai for the different events and festivals. So we believe it's important to showcase the Emirati culture, also to explore because many people, they think Dubai, it's all about the high building, about like Burj Khalifa. It's important for them to go to these places, but at the same time, they need to explore the cultural side of Dubai. There is a lot of things that they can explore, so we are trying to promote the other side of Dubai. It's not only about the things which they can easily find in the internet. So, and we continuously add depending on what we believe, like what people should see on the other side of Dubai. And as our ruler says, in the race of excellence, there is no finish line. I would like to leave you with a short video about one of our experiences. Okay, thank you for attending.
Thank you so much. So I have to confess, I'm not only interviewing you, but I'm a customer. I've been a guest. I just got to go on Khadija's tour yesterday. So we had an Emirati traditional breakfast and a tour through the old town. Now, I was quite surprised to find out about an experience because I had no idea that this type of thing was possible. When I think of Dubai, quite honestly, I think of Burj Khalifa. I think of I think of the incredible office towers. I think of the amusement parks. It's got to be a challenge to break out, right? And how do you get people interested in this? I mean, how are you finding guests?
Okay, by the way, yeah, we go, actually we deal with, currently we are only providing experiences, like we don't bring people like from overseas, so we deal with different travel agencies. We explain to them about the different experiences which we offer, so they can check with their guests who are interested in the cultural aspects, they can deal with us. Plus we provide, like it's important for us to provide like photos, like more information and details about the experience, because it's important for them to know like the details of the experience in order to decide. Yeah.
And but these are private tours, or are you doing scheduled, custom tours as well?
Sometimes we do some public tours which we announce them, so different people from individuals can book and join our tour, but mostly now we are doing private tours.
How do you think about the experience? How have you chosen the things that really stand out within like the Emirati experience? Like in the experience that we did, we had breakfast, and then we had a very small coffee tasting, and you walked us through the town. But there's got to be more to Emirati life here and historical culture than food.
Yeah.
So how do you think about that? What are the elements that you choose?
So basically, we think about what is our goal, like what we want to achieve. For example, let's say if I would like to educate the tourist about the Arabic coffee. So I'll be searching about the Arabic coffee, where is the best place where I can take them to explain about the coffee, how we can do in terms of demonstrating, for example, the process of making the coffee, what will be the best place, like can we be flexible in case if the guest couldn't come to our place, like we could go to them, or kind of if we can be flexible with the location. So kind of we consider all these points, and yeah.
You are a local, you're an Emirati.
Yes.
And so you became a tour guide. It's not a typical profession, right, for a local Emirati to become a tour guide and to start their own small tour business.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you, can you tell a little bit of the background? Where did the inspiration come from?
Okay, so how did I find my passion in tourism? So basically, I was working in one of the federal universities, and kind of I was volunteering to help the other professors in order to plan their study trips. So here I found my passion in planning itineraries, doing the communication, booking the tickets, and so on. So from there, I found myself really enjoying the process of planning an itinerary, and then I decided to start my own business. It's all, I believe, it's all about passion.
So, but most of the tour companies here, their guides are not Emirati, right? Mm-hmm. They're expats, but your guides are all local Emirati, or do you?
Yeah, all our tour guides are certified Emirati tour guides, but we believe, yeah, it is important also, we don't have non-Emirati tour guides, but sometimes we deal with them, especially when we need a translator, a person who can explain, and especially if our guests are if they don't speak English, then we will need another tour guide to explain to them in their own language.
Yeah. So what's next? What's next for Meet the Locals? You offer a few experiences. Where are you taking the business?
Okay, most of the time, previously we were doing the sales offline. So now we have a plan to have our own platform to sell our packages, our experiences online, and to connect with the different OTAs. So this is currently what we are working on. And then we would like to expand to have experiences in all the 7 Emirates.
In all of the Emirates across the UAE?
In all the Emirates,
okay.
yeah.
Now, and who are your typical customers? I mean, is this is the person who is having a meet the locals experience, are they then, are they going to the water park like if they do the breakfast in the morning, are they going to the water park in the afternoon, or like is it older, is it younger, is it couples? Like who's the typical guest?
Well, I would say we had a mix, a beautiful mix. Even when we started, we were tracking like how many nationalities we met. We get a lot of Americans, a lot of people from the UK, a lot of French people, and mostly I can say that they are in their 30s and 40s. And as a profession, we noticed that the majority of them are teachers or in the educational sector.
Yeah. It's been a very clear trend that we've seen in experiences in general that the consumers want more smaller, kind of unique experiences. They want to connect with local culture. To me, it seems like you're right on track. Are there common misperceptions that consumers or your guests have about the experience? Because this is a new type of experience. Are there things that they maybe expect to have that they're surprised by? Or I guess, what are you finding is the most impactful piece of your, say, of a Meet the Locals experience that leaves the biggest impression with guests?
I believe we focus on smaller groups. And even if we received a request for a big group, what we do is we divide them into smaller groups, and each group will have a dedicated tour guide. Because I believe with the smaller group, they will feel more free to ask questions. And in all our experiences, we open the floor for them to ask any question they want about the culture, about our lifestyle, why we are wearing black, or so they can ask anything they want. And we always make them comfortable to ask any questions. We tell them you don't have to worry, it's just the friendly atmosphere we have to provide to encourage them to ask the questions which they have.
And are you seeing guests come from particular countries versus others? Are you seeing, is this appealing more to, say, Europeans versus Americans, or travelers from Asia?
Actually, when we were tracking, we received more than 80 nationalities, but we noticed that we get a lot of French tourists, but they are coming from an Arab background. So kind of they are more curious to know about the culture.
Okay.
But at the same time, I noticed that Germans, people from the UK are curious to know about the culture.
Okay. And around the experience itself, do you see that there are things that that really leave the biggest, if there's, say one significant surprise, right, or something that really you see, something that you've learned, right, that maybe you could share. And I think also because again, Dubai is known for, well, it's not really known for this, right, from a tourist perspective, right? I guess what kind of guidance or recommendation would you have for other operators that maybe are doing more of the classic or the traditional experience? Like what are little pieces or things that we should even be thinking about in a kind of the general touristic experience?
Okay, I believe customization is important. Understanding your clients, understanding the guest or the tourist, because even if how can I say, normally the tour guide, each tour guide, I have a group of tour guides, but each tour guide has a certain background and personality. So I believe I have to match the tour guide with the guest to have the perfect match. I know that all of them are tour guides, but if I have a group of doctors coming, then I have tour guides who has who are doctors working part-time as tour guides. So I'll be selecting them to be the tour guide for this group, because kind of it will be matching their interest. So it's important to match the right tour guide for the right group.
Well, we'll be watching very closely the growth of Meet the Locals. I think, destinations like Dubai need more of that, for sure. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
and we
so
look
much.
forward to seeing what's next.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Khadija Bezab.